What's up, YouTube? It's a Sluminator back again for talking today about cards that you should be putting in your main deck. This is very important right now, especially for the format. Today we're really going to talk about cards like Thunder King Rai-Oh. We're going to talk about Dimensional Prison, Bottomless Trap Hole, cards like Maxx C, cards like Gorz, cards that really you should be strictly putting in your main deck. This is going to be in the aspect of heroes, though. So this is cards you should be maining in your hero deck. It's not going to work in everything else. So let's start off with, I've got my little trusty pen and my paper over here so I can keep track on what I'm doing. So let's talk about Thunder King first, guys. We're going to talk about Thunder King. We're going to talk about Thunder King in terms of the Dark World matchup. I'm going to try to make all these matchups kind of quick and just go to the main point. Thunder King stops in Dark Worlds. It stops them searching with Snow, and it stops the Inherit Summon of Grapha. Honestly, that's all it does against Dark Worlds, but it's not bad. You'd rather want to draw to a Thunder King rather than something else against Dark Worlds. It's still a good card. It's not bad. You've got enough traps to be able to protect everything, so you can hold that Thunder King on the field, keep beating them down with it, and just keep going. It's good against windups. It stops Factory, stops Exceed Summons. It's an awesome turn one. Against windups, you just summon Thunder King. They can't go Factory. They can't go just automatically go Magician Shark and then loop you. Well, not loop you, but OTK you. Another deck, Mermaid Lanians. A lot of people think that Thunder King's really dead against Mermaid Lanians. I really argue otherwise because I think that Thunder King's one of the best cards that you could main against Mermaid Lanians. I did a little bit more playtesting against Mermaid Lanians, and I did 5-game ones with against my one friend. He's a judge. I don't really know if you guys know, but I know a lot of good players. I'm friends with a lot of people. I've never had a top or anything, but I'm still pretty good. I'm not going to toot my own horn or anything, but I'm not bad by any means. I just don't play like the tier 1 decks. That's why I don't top. I don't know if you guys have watched a previous video, but I went 6-3 at YCS Toronto with Disaster Dragons. Yeah. Yeah, it freaked me out too. But anyway, but just to give you guys a little info on who's this guy talking? Who's he now? But I play tested with one of my judge friends, and I beat him 4-1 in 5-game ones. That's pretty good. But the main reason is the cards that I main, and I'll get into those once we get further throughout the video. So it's great against windups, great against Mermaid Lanians. It stops Gen X Undyne Search for Gen X Controller. It stops Dragoons, and it stops all their Exceed summons, which is the only thing you need to worry about. They don't have big beaters that get over it. The only thing it can't stop is Mermaid Abyss Megalo. That's the only thing because it's not an Inherit summon. It's its own effect summoning it. That's one thing you guys need to look out for, is it's not an Inherit summon. It's its own effect special summoning it, so you can't stop it with Thunder King. And that's why I feel like cards like Dimensional Prison are really good against that card, which is why I feel that you should be maining 3D Prison in your deck. But we'll get to that after Thunder King. So next deck, obviously Agents. It negates Hyperion, it negates Christia, it stops Earth Search, it stops Gachi's Exceed Summon. It's great against Agents. Against the Mirror Match, it's awesome. It stops E-Call, Rhoda, Duality. Other than that, though, that's really about it. But it's not a dead card. Against Chaos Dragons, it's phenomenal. It stops all the Inherit summons of like Pulsar, Dark Flare, Darkness Metal. They can't use Charge. It's the only other card I can think of that it really stops is Charge of the Light Brigade. And then it stops their Exceed summons. So if they go Tour Guide, bring out another Tour Guide, overlay and make summons, negate the summons, I don't really know. But it's not bad. Like, against all the decks, it's not that bad. Especially against Inzectors. Inzectors is another deck. It stops the Centipede Search, so they don't get everything that they need to their hand off Centipede's effect. So it's pretty good. It's not bad. Next card, Dimensional Prison. This card needs to be mained at 3. Not at 1, not at 2, at 3 in Heroes. And the reason being is a lot of pros are saying that Dimensional Prison's a bad card right now. I don't think so. I think Dimensional Prison is one of the best cards in the game. And the reason being is it stops everything from Dark Worlds. It's not bad against windups. I mean, it's helpful. It's not bad. Against Mermaid Lanians, I feel that this is an awesome card against Mermaid Lanians. Because, like I've said, everything else the way that my build is, if you guys want to go take a look and watch that video that I have to see what's in my main deck, it combats Mermaid Lanians phenomenal. With the double Maxx C, double Effect Veiler, the Gorz, Dimensional Prison just it shuts it down. You don't need Mirror Force to really wipe their field. They don't go off unless they do the OTK with Diva, infantry Birdman and all that, and then get the attack squad guy. But Dimensional Prison's great. I mean, it stops Abyss Megalo. The main important thing is Abyss Megalo. As long as you just get rid of him, and it's a great card to get rid of Abyss Megalo. Because if you're maining two Compulse in the deck, what are you going to do? Compulse Abyss Megalo back to the hand and then have them pitch 2 and special summon it, get the effect? Like, that's bad. That's really bad. Because then when they go at the end phase, this happened to me in a bunch of games I playtested. Abyss Sphere at the end phase, they get out Abyss Megalo, and then they go, and then they attack, and they run into your D-Prison. So they really can't get around it any other way, so it's good. It's a good card. It just gets rid of it without having to worry about it. And you're keeping, whenever they attack with a water, you're keeping waters out of the grave so they can't drop, hope I'm pronouncing this right, Molinglacia, whatever, the Elemental Lord, because he's really, really good. And combat's against him too in case they drop it on you, and they attack with a 28 beat, or you've got a D-Prison to get rid of it, so it's not bad. That's why I like D-Prison in the main, because it hits, like I said, it hits Mermaid Atlanteans, it hits Agents hard. It hits Agents really hard. It hits the Mirror Match really, really hard, which is great. And it hits Chaos Dragons really, really hard. Basically, it hits every main deck. You do have to acknowledge, though, that against Inzectors, if you face one, a lot of people are like, oh, but what about Inzectors? No, Inzectors still aren't good, guys. They're not good. They can't just pop everything like they used to be able to, which is why D-Prison's still just not a dead card against them. It's still really good. And banish their Centipede. Just get that shit out of there. It's fine. Like, people are like freaking out and feeling like D-Prison's still a bad call. But with all the other cards that you main in the hero deck, you still have a really good game 1 against Inzectors, which is fine. Like I said, take a look at my deck list. You can check it out. Still some good stops in there. Another card that I want to talk about is Maxx C. Honestly, the only thing that Maxx C is dead against is usually Inzectors, obviously heroes, kind of Dark Worlds. But honestly, other than that, Maxx C is a great card in the main. I think Maxx C is great, and against like Chaos Dragons, because they don't have to go off. But you still 1-for-1. Even against heroes, they go Miracle Fusion, or they Exceed Summon and make like Blade Armor or Excalibur. It's never dead. At least you're 1-for-1ing, and it's one less card that you're going to draw in your deck. Maxx C's not awful. It's really not a bad card. I don't think it is. I think it's a decent card, especially against like everything. It at least can get dropped on everything. And I mean, if you top deck it against something that's bad, I mean that's just, that sucks, but it happens. Another card I want to talk about is Effect Veiler. Everyone knows that Effect Veiler needs to at least be a 2 in the main deck. I mean, depending on what you're playing, though. I know a lot of Mermaid Atlantean decks don't main it. I don't main it in mine, just to make it strictly just be able to just explode. But Effect Veiler needs to be at least a 2. I play 2 in mine. I feel that 3 is a little too much because I play the double Maxx C. But try it. Try it at 2, try it at 3. Let me know how it goes. I haven't tried it at 3, so I really don't know. I just don't really like Effect Veiler. Just because if you're playing 2 Maxx C and then you have all the traps to back it up, at least you've got a turn 1 again in case, wind-ups go off and go nuts. You've got that Maxx C to drop, and then you've got traps for the next turn. So it's really not that bad. I feel like it's pretty good. But another card is Gorz. I still feel like Gorz is really viable in Heroes, especially just against everything. It's great, especially against Mermaid Atlanteans. That saves you. It saves you pretty good, and against wind-ups too. It really saves you. And if you get lucky enough, like I do, trying to do it off Maxx C, it's great. But Gorz is just great against everything. It's never a bad card against anything. It's great. Another card is Bottomless. Bottomless, honestly, it hits every deck right now. Bottomless needs to be in your main deck. It needs to be in your main at 2. It hits every single deck, and it's worth playing it. It really is. At 2. Needs to be at 2. Do not play 1. Other than that, guys, like I told you in my deck profile video, I said I was going to make a video explaining why you should play every card. That's why. Hopefully this helps you guys. I know it helps me a lot. And to look down and make like a list, I'll show you guys. I kind of went through and just kind of like this matchup, what it stops, what it hits. And if you lay it down on paper and you go, huh, you know what? That actually makes sense. You realize that it actually hits a lot of the decks. So you go, seems doable. So putting everything in your main just makes it seem easier. It gives you better game 1s because, I mean, heroes need the game 1 because they usually don't get it. But with the build I feel that game 1s actually happen a pretty good amount, especially playtesting against windups. It's about 50-50, which is really nice in game 1s. You just need to hope that you don't draw too bad. I mean, if they open the nuts and can just keep going with factories and rabbit, it's going to suck, but it's still not too bad. All right, I'm rambling at this point, guys, but I feel that what I've said is pretty relevant. I hope this helped you guys out a lot, because it's about 10 minutes in the vid now. But if you guys have any questions, comments, leave them below. Rate, comment, subscribe, guys. Like I said, I'm going to start doing a little bit more vids. Hopefully can help you guys combat the meta a little bit more. My next video is probably going to be a side deck video. Just explaining what you guys really need to be playing in the side, what hits everything, what you can really side against everything. That's one thing that I keep in mind with my side deck as well. I don't want this one card for this one matchup, like Gemini Imp. I don't like Gemini Imps at all. I don't like it against that one matchup of Dark Worlds. I like Shadow Imprisoning because it hits everything else. But like I said, I'll save that for the next vid. Thanks for bearing with me here, guys. I know it's a little long here, but alright guys, it's the Sluminator, signing off. Take it easy.